welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going down the nostalgia rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. You know how brands try to capture that warm, fuzzy feeling?
Yeah.
And turn it into, well, profit.
Exactly. Brand equity, that special something.
Right. That's what we're digging into.
It's more than just a feeling, though. We're going deeper.
Okay, good, because you give me this research paper.
Right.
It's called How Nostalgic Brand Positioning Shapes Brand Equity.
Sketchy. Right.
Differences between emerging and developed markets. I mean, over 2,300 people surveyed in China and Japan. They weren't messing around.
It's goldmine, this study.
So before we even get to those differences, did they even figure out why nostalgia works in the first place?
Okay, so they looked at a huge range of products, everyday stuff. Snacks, shampoo, you name it, some brand new, some, been around forever.
Okay, so a good mix.
And they found it's not just one thing, it's like 3 ways nostalgia builds up that brand value.
Hit me with it.
Emotional attachment, that's a big one. Then there's something called brand local iconness.
Icon what?
Iconness. We'll unpack that. And then just plain old brand authenticity.
All right, break those down for me, especially that iconness.
Okay, so imagine it like this.
Okay.
First, you've got that emotional attachment. Maybe the brand reminds you of being a kid. Good times, right? Simpler times.
Comforting. Familiar.
Exactly. Then there's brand local iconness. That means the brand, it's like it represents the best of where it's from. Like it is that place,
Sounds like a cultural ambassador almost.
Yes.
You see the logo, you think of a specific place, a time.
And it goes beyond just liking the product itself, right? It's that connection.
Interesting. But you're saying this formula doesn't work everywhere.
Yeah. And that's where it gets really interesting. The study found that this whole nostalgia thing doesn't land the same way everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. I would have thought, like, China, with all their history, traditions,
Right, you'd think.
would be prime for this kind of branding.
You'd think.
So what's going on there?
Okay, so picture this. Emerging markets, they're all about what's next. Always growing.
Everything's new.
New stuff all the time. It's a very forward-looking mindset.
Makes sense. Why cling to the past when the future's so bright, right?
Exactly. Plus, for a lot of people in these markets, the past, well, it's not always rosy. Local might mean products from a time when things weren't so good.
Not exactly aspirational.
And not really the image most brands are going for, right?
So you're saying in these fast-changing economies,
Yeah.
we've always been here, that might actually backfire.
It might, yeah. Especially if always been here sounds like, well, stuck in the past.
Right. But heritage, history, that's still powerful even in those places, right?
Absolutely. And you know what the study found can really change how this all plays out?
What's that?
Innovation.
Okay, now we're talking. Tell me more.
It's wild, right? Innovation, like that's the future, right?
Right.
But it can unlock that nostalgia power.
So a brand new cutting-edge product,
Yeah.
you're saying, that can actually benefit from a nostalgic brand story. How does that even work?
Okay, so think about it like this. In a place like Japan, right?
Consumers, they might be a little wary of too much new stuff.
Yeah.
Especially with brands that connect with tradition.
They want that consistency.
It's like, hey, you're changing too much. This isn't the brand I grew up with.
Right, like messing with the formula.
Exactly. But in emerging markets, innovation, that can actually boost those nostalgic vibes. It's like saying, yeah, we remember where we came from, but we're not stuck there.
So it's all about balance, like walking that tightrope between the past and the future.
100%. That's where you need smart innovation. The study found brands that nailed nostalgia in those emerging markets. They weren't just innovating randomly.
Right.
They connected those new ideas back to their core, to the stuff that resonated.
So give me an example. Say I'm a food brand in China, been around forever. How do I do that? Use innovation but not seem, outdated. Ooh, good question. So maybe you introduce a new product line,
Okay.
but you use traditional ingredients, classic recipes, right?
Familiar flavors.
Yeah, but with a modern twist. Like maybe it's a classic candy bar,
Love those.
but with a new flavor. Or a traditional tea, but blended with like some superfoods or something.
I see. So it's not just slapping a new label on an old product.
Yeah, no.
It's about understanding that essence,
Yeah.
the nostalgia part.
Yeah.
And then finding a new way to express it.
Exactly.
There's another layer to this, though, right? That whole made in. How does that play into all of this?
Oh, that made in label. So powerful. But again, it depends.
On the market.
Big time. Like this study found made in Japan and a lot of developed markets. Huge.
Yeah.
Means quality, craftsmanship, pride even, but in emerging markets. not always the same.
You're telling me just where a product's made can totally change how people see it.
It's crazy, right? But remember, context is everything.
Right.
In these markets, local. It doesn't always mean better. It might even mean like those old products from before things got better.
So these consumers, they've worked hard. Their economies have grown. They want brands that show that progress.
They want to see how far they've come.
So it's not just about what you're selling, it's where it's from too. That's fascinating.
And it gets to this bigger point. There's no one-size-fits-all nostalgia playbook.
Right.
What works in Japan, a mature market, could flop in a place that's developing super fast.
It's almost like you're trying to thread a needle or something. You've got the history, the nostalgia, but you got to make it relevant to people who see new stuff every single day.
Exactly. And that's where the innovation, it becomes so important. It's not just like repackaging something old.
Right.
It's got to be woven in.
So it's less about what you innovate on.
Yeah.
And more about how that innovation, it still speaks to those roots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like showing the craftsmanship, the tradition, but in a way that feels new.
It's like retro innovation almost.
I like that.
Taking the best of the past.
Yeah.
Using that to fuel the future. Could that be even more powerful than just like regular innovation in any market?
That is a great question. And that's what makes research like this so cool, right?
Yeah.
It's not just giving us answers, it's making us ask more questions.
I love that. Well, this has been incredible. We've covered so much ground, the different ways nostalgia works, the power of innovation.
And remember, we're just scratching the surface.
Just the tip of the iceberg.
There's so much more to explore here.
Absolutely. So to everyone listening, we'll leave you with this. Think about your favorite brands, the ones with that nostalgic feeling.
The ones you keep coming back to.
How could they use this retro innovation to connect with you on an even deeper level?
What stories could they tell?
What experiences could they create?
Keep those wheels turning.
Until next time, happy exploring.